breaks out. Christian Scaroni, the handshake is there. And finally, it has become clear what is going to happen at the top of this climb. They come over the line together. Watch the wheels. Who gets to the line? It's just Scaroni who wins the stage by a whisker ahead of Lorenzo Fortunato, a Giro stage winner at last.
Another big day out in the mountains. Heading out from San Michele al Adige with 3 categorised climbs on the way, including the mighty Paso del Mortirolo. A day perhaps for Lorenzo Fortunato to seal the deal in the King of the Mountains competition. Another day for the general classification. Egan Bernal looking to make ground. Tom Pidcock still looking for a stage win. Simon Yates to hold on to second place on GC or improve his standings even further. Dry weather conditions after yesterday's rain. As the flag dropped then, as ever, over recent days, an almighty struggle to get in the day's breakaway. A real opportunity for riders to get in a break that would perhaps go all the way to the line. An early intermediate sprint went the way of the Maglio Ciclamino. Mads Pedersen up the road and taking a further maximum 12 points at the first sprint of the day to extend his lead still further in that competition. And then briefly, Isaac Del Toro attacking from the front of the bunch to get up the road and join a big group up the road. Wilco Kelderman's setting the pace with Mads Pedersen on his wheel as eventually a 38-rider move, including the King of the Mountains, Lorenzo Fortunato, established a lead on the road of around about 3 minutes, with Polti Visit Malta having missed the move and riding on the front of the peloton. A good opportunity for Lorenzo Fortunato to try and split the group at the front of the race and go off in search of further King of the Mountains points, as Mads Pedersen and a number of other riders dropped away at the back, and groups of the better climbers went clear at the front of the race. Fortunato still surfing the wheels and hoping that the attackers would come back together. Wilco Kelderman, one of 4 Visma Lease bike riders driving on the breakaway, but Lorenzo Fortunato went over the Category 2 climb in first place to pick up another 18 points. Polti Visit Malta still riding on the front and controlling the breakaway, holding them at around about 3 minutes and 30 seconds through the second intermediate sprint. And then Visma Lease bike on the lower slopes of the Paso del Mortirolo on the front of the bunch, with Alessandro Tonelli setting the pace initially for Polti Visit Malta. Andrea Vendrami and Stefano Oldani dropped from the front of the race, and with Carapaz sitting on the wheels of the groups of favourites, suddenly Antonio Tiberi was in trouble. The Bahrain victorious man dropping out of contention and losing a lot of time on the stage. The group then thinning out all the while, but at the front of the race, Lorenzo Fortunato stamping on the pedals and looking to gain maximum points at the top of the Mortirolo, where big crowds had gathered to see the race come up. Still a 3.5 minute lead as Romain Bardet opened up an attack at the top of the Mortirolo climb. He was followed by Afonso Olialo of Bahrain victorious. As further behind, it was EF Education setting the pace, and Richard Carapaz attacked a couple of kilometres from the top of the Mortirolo. Isaac Del Toro just following the wheel of the other favourites, including Simon Yates. At the front of the race, though, Olalio went over in first place from the original breakaway, and Carapaz opening up a lead over the other GC contenders and on to the descent. Carapaz then picking up some riders from the original breakaway and trying to hold off the rest of the chase, while at the front of the race groups came together, and Isaac Del Toro went off in search of the Carapaz group. He would pick up support though, and eventually they would try and close the gap to the marauding Carapaz, the Maglia Rosa group coming in and closing a 10 or 12 second gap. Damien Howson then started to ride to shut down the breakaway so that Tom Pidcock could ride to a stage win, as eventually a group of some half a dozen riders tried to hold off on the higher slopes of the Le Motte climb, the inevitable chase from the Maglia Rosa group. Romain Bardet attacked towards the top of the climb, and Bardet went over the top of the final Cat 3 climb of the day in first place, but Danny Martinez from the original breakaway set up his teammate Giulio Pellizzari, perhaps for an attack. Del Toro and the rest of the favourites following the move. Bardet still with a little bit of an advantage heading towards the top of the climb. But Isaac Del Toro, taking Richard Carapaz with him, attacked over the top of the final climb of the day and went off in search of the front of the race and a stage win. Bardet then, on his own from the original breakaway, and the other GC favourites trying to chase down Carapaz and Isaac Del Toro on the final descent on the run into Bormio. Those two riders coming in hot and chasing down Romain Bardet. Bardet then caught and sitting on the wheels as they held off the chase of the Yates group in second place.
Is about to make history here at the Giro, once again for Mexico. A last lunge from Richard Carapaz and Romain Bardet to neutralise the attack from Isaac Del Toro. No chance. Del Toro is going to take the final left-hand turn and then he is going to ride to victory. The Maglia Rosa, he is back. And he is intent on winning this Giro d'Italia. He takes a victory from the front in pink. Del Toro is bowing in front of his audience here, in control. Bardet crosses the line in second place. Carapaz picks up a time bonus in third that will see him jump up to second place on the GC.
Young Mexican reversing the disappointments of yesterday with his family on hand to greet him at the finish line in Bormio. The champagne flowing then for Isaac Del Toro, a stage winner at the Giro at last, ahead of Romain Bardet and Richard Carapaz. Simon Yates coming in 15 seconds down in the group of favourites in fourth. And a much better day for the Maglia Rosa in the general classification. He is now 41 seconds ahead of Richard Carapaz, who moves up to second. Simon Yates dropping down to third. Another good day for Mads Pedersen, adding to his enormous advantage in the Maglia Ciclamino. And in the King of the Mountains competition, it is as good as done. The nearest rival for Lorenzo Fortunato is his teammate, Christian Scaroni. And the white jersey, of course, once more worn by Isaac Del Toro. A much better day for the race leader today.